Good afternoon, GBIM and Mission One family and friends. Have the privilege of being here with Matt Murphy. Matt and his wife Victoria are here in the States for one more week.
A week and a half.
Week and a half more. And so I've known Matt for a number of years. He might even admit that maybe I've served as a mentor a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Okay, fair statement. Matt, your first trip with Mission One was what year?
2010.
2010, and where was that?
So we went to Honduras, to Faith Home, down there with the OCU group. It was a good group. A lot of people who ended up serving long term.
AJ Ford,
Brittany, formerly Hodge, she was over there as well.
And so Matt, from that very first trip, okay, you came from the big booming town of Nineveh, Indiana population.
That is a real town, by the way.
Real town.
Mm-hmm.
What population? What?
It's like 200. If you Google it, it's gonna say like 2,000 because there's but the town itself
has
like
suburbs too,
yeah.
right? So it comes from Nineveh, Indiana, to really not a big place, Oakland City, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
How did this mission trip to Honduras? How did it broaden your world? How did it broaden your thinking of even what ministry was all about, mission?
Like when I grew up in this booming town, Nineveh, our church would go to Indianapolis to feed the homeless, and so I was like, that was it. But I knew I wanted something more, and I remember in 2008 going to Oakland City, and I saw the map of the General Baptist, and that's why I love that map, because it's just like they have ministry in Honduras, and I want to do something there, even in 2008. And then when it was at the time Dr. Pratt, now I call him a friend Jim, but at the time Dr. Pratt's like, hey, we're going to take a trip next summer, 2010, and I was like, okay, let's go. And we went from I want to take all the pictures of all the kids and be able to tell all the stories. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you probably understand that. If you've ever been on a trip, you're like, I want to take all the pictures. And then after you go, you're like, who cares about the stinking pictures? You come home and people are like, oh, let me see the pictures. And you're like what pictures?
How do you even explain it?
Yeah, you can't explain it. Pictures are like nothing because then people start to judge it and misinterpret it. And so that first trip was I wanted to see and I wanted to be able to be. And instead it's I don't even know. I from the more years of doing this thing called traveling and ministry, I've learned, Jim, as you have too, that it's not about the places, it's all about the people. Yeah, and that's what I learned in that first trip.
And so did you, was it the next summer that you went to the Philippines, or was that the very next summer?
The very next summer.
We'll tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Internship for how long?
For 2 months to Philippines. We stayed at GBBC. And, it was just, again, it was one of those things that I wanted an adventure. I wanted to go and be in the middle of the rainforest. But again, it was more than that. It was about the people.
So what are some of the things you did in this 2-month internship? Again, this is would have been after your junior year?
After my junior year in college, yeah. So I'm 21 years old, and I go over there. And Joyce, fantastic leader and woman, she let me teach some of the kindergarten through, at the time, 10th grade, and then also fill in some of the college classes. But my favorite thing was helping during the natural disasters. The whole college campus would go and help at local churches when there was huge mudslides and rainstorms. And so just being there with the students helping out, it was fantastic.
And then also our good buddy Pastor Nonoy, you spent some time at his house.
Yes, so we went into
basketball,
the villages, played basketball. And
so you would say that no matter what a person's giftedness is or skill set, there's ministry for them to do.
Absolutely. And, we'll talk about this probably more later, but now Victoria and I have this thing called Running Water Events, and our tagline is make a difference with what you have, make a difference with who you are. So no matter what it is, no matter your skills, later I took we hosted a basketball training in the Philippines because that's what I'm passionate about. And another guy, Pastor Jeff, that's what we were passionate about. So we went and did that.
And so, come back from your internship there, graduate a year later from Oakland City, religious studies. By that point, did you know that missions, whether it's full-time international missionary or whatever, by then did you know that missions had to be a part of your life and ministry?
Oh, yeah, for a long time. But I'd always said, and still believe it, that I don't want to live overseas. I mean, I know I live on the island of Saipan now, but I want to be able to help people be wherever they are, wherever, next door, across the street, across the neighborhood, whatever. And so I've always known that I want to empower people, and I'll go with them. And I've always known that's going to be a part.
And so in addition, correct me if I'm wrong here, Honduras, Philippines, went on a mission trip to an Indian reservation in the States with a group from Open City. I've been back to the Philippines doing a basketball outreach. Currently, tell the people watching what you're doing.
We live on the island of Saipan where we're teachers. So I teach kindergarten through 8th grade PE, and then I also teach the middle school Bible. So yeah, that's what I do on the island of Saipan.
And so your shirt here says Running Water Events. Tell them a little bit about Running Water Events.
So back in 2018, I got a dog, and she's hypoallergenic. And for those of you who don't know what hypoallergenic means, it means if you're allergic to dogs, you're not allergic to her because she has more human hair than dog fur.
More human hair than I've got now, probably.
Okay. Yeah. So she's like a big fuzzball. And so she was clean. And I wanted a running dog, and I wanted her to be inside. And I said, who doesn't want clean running water inside? And I thought that was a joke. And so I used a joke for a while, and no one laughs at it. Yeah. So fast forward to the next year where Water and I are running 6 miles a day, a few times a week. And GBIM was raising money for clean water projects last summer. And I'm like, I have this dog named Water, and we're running. And she's cute. Like everyone always says, oh, she's so cute. And I'm like, well, let's just do something to raise money for clean running water projects, whether it's wells or whether it's providing those filter systems, whatever it is, let's do our part. And at the time, I was a pastor of a numerically small church in Evansville, Indiana, which is a socially underserved neighborhood. So it's like all accounts told me that I can't do anything. And I had a dog. I was a pastor in a small church with a flip phone. I didn't even have a smartphone. And that's a true story. And I had a dog. I was like, what can we do? So took a picture, put it on the shirt, started selling the shirts, and started raising money. And we've raised and again, I don't work for GBI. I'm just a pastor, and now live in Saipan as a teacher. And we've raised over $6,000 or something for well projects, and
so you have this young man here. You're 30 years old now.
Yeah.
At the ripe old age of 30, started off as a college student going to Honduras. Did an internship in the Philippines. Actually helped work at a church. Started a church with national missions.
Yes.
And so what Matt said, I hope you caught that, is mission is a part of who he is. It's a part of who we have to be. And some people we shared before, the Brantleys, they went on a mission trip. They did a short-term trip. Now they're going to be career missionaries. Robin Lowry, the same way. A few weeks back, my daughter Katie said that she went on these mission trips, but she felt like she wasn't called to be a full-time international missionary, but she was called to raise support to help people who would go. And Matt has said the same thing with Running Water Events. And so I want to encourage you to pray about being involved with mission teams. With this wonderful pandemic going on, we know teams will happen again. Trust me, they will. And so whether it's later on this year or next year, I would encourage you, I would challenge you to go on a mission trip. I think, Matt, you would say even go a step further if you can do an internship. Because
absolutely.
When you're traveling internationally and the team's not there, and it's life as it really is there, it's a totally different.
It is totally different. I want to say two things there. The first, like he said, we can do a virtual mission trip. What does a virtual mission trip mean? So we asked him and asked some other people and said, hey, let's work together to do what we can now and making a difference now. So what does a virtual mission trip look like to you? There's this thing called the post office where you can send stuff to missionaries right now, right? Yes. And especially, like, I live on the island of Saipan. It's, flat rate box from the USPS. You can send it over there at a very affordable cost. And you can send cards and letters to these missionaries. You can send financial support. You can raise money for them. Maybe it's a car wash, whatever it is, or just pray, whatever it is for you. You can do these things with your church or with your group or your family. And so even now, we encourage you to do that. And if you want to watch that video, again, that's Pastor Matty Ice on YouTube, Virtual Mission Trip. We have several videos in that playlist that help you talk to you about what a virtual mission trip will be. But so the other thing I want to talk about just going and just do it, the internship, when you go for a week, you take some pictures, you have some different food, you come home. But when you go, like he said, when you go for 2 months, it's like after a month, you're like, oh, all the newness wore off.
Mm-hmm.
Like you get to experience, and then you get to see it a little bit more. What is it like when the team goes? What's it like when when you're filling up cars instead of doing the fun stuff,
Yes.
that get the pictures or the videos or whatever. And for me, that's what I love, because if you want to help somebody,
Yes.
go help them. And
Yes.
yeah.
Yep. Amen. Well, Matt, thanks for sharing with us. And again, if you would like to go on a mission trip, do an internship, a short-term trip, you can contact me, jim.pratt@generalbaptist.com. And again, to make sure you get it, if you would like to join Matt on his YouTube channel and just join him with running water events, tell them again the best way to contact you.
Yeah, so the YouTube is Pastor Matty Ice, and that's M-A-T-T Ice, or M-A-T-T-I-E, and then Ice, Pastor Matty Ice, or runningwaterevents@gmail.com, runningwaterevents@gmail.com.
Thanks, Matt, and thank you guys for joining us in.